Okay, so we're gonna look back into functions now. I'm gonna start by creating an external file, script, type, text, JavaScript, huh? That's good, yeah. Content, no, sorry. Source equal functions dot JavaScript. I like to call it functions. You can name your file, whatever you want. Okay, so then a new file, language, JavaScript, functions. Okay, so now functions, okay, they are declared by writing function, sorry. The name of the function, whatever name you want to give to the function. For example, I'm going to create a function named insert text. Okay, and this function insert text will write something. Document dot write some text. Now we said that document dot write shouldn't be used inside outside the body, right? But what I want to show you here is that a function is not executed unless we call it. A function, as Shadi was saying, is passive. It will not be called until it will not be executed until you call it. So now, if I go into my body and then I write script type text JavaScript, right? And I write my function here, it will be executed. I'm gonna start by not calling the function yet, running Firefox, and there you go, there is nothing in the page. The function was not executed. Now I'm going to execute the function at line 11, so I just have to write the same name of the function, including the parentheses. So insert text. Since I am calling the function at line 11, that is where my code will be executed. That is where my line will be written, my document.write. And it's also the order. For example, I'm going to add an h1 here, h1 title, right? So the text that will be inserted will be after title. So let's see now, refresh, some text, okay? It was written inside the body. That is okay, because the function, even if document.write is outside the body, it is not executed outside the body. It is actually executed inside the body on line 12. So that is okay. Yeah? Now, functions could have could be written without any parameters, meaning it is not asking for me to send any values. Or I can have a function asking me for a value. For example, function insert text 2. I'm going to create a new function, insert text 2, and this one is actually going to ask me for some text. Okay, the first function is not asking me for anything. The second one is asking me for text. And what I'm going to do is document.write, and I am going to write whatever text is parsed through the function, right? So whatever I put inside the parentheses, that's what I'm going to send towards document.write. I am declaring a variable I am declaring a variable txt right there in the parentheses, right? So when I call my function insert text2, I need to send a text. So I'm going to send this text was sent through the variable txt. This text was sent through the variable txt. Okay? So it is just like in math. If you remember in math, you could have f of x equals x times 2. Therefore, f of 2 is equal to 4. Right? Because 2 is sent as x. So x is equal to 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. Well, it's the same thing here. I am sending through my variable, instead of having x, I have a variable txt, text. That's how I named it. I can name whatever I want, right? So now txt is equal to this text was sent through the variable txt. So that's what I am sending into document.write. I can send variables, I can send parameters, okay? Now, functions can, when you declare a function, for example, write full name, okay? Remember, you can name the functions whatever you want, as long as they're not numbers. You can name them whatever you want. Write full name is going to ask me for two parameters, name and last name. Okay, I am creating a function that requires two parameters. So now I can use document dot write. I'm gonna concatenate those values, name plus space plus last name. Yeah. So whenever I call my function write full name, I'm gonna go back to the body, write full name. It is asking me for two parameters, name, I'm gonna write here John, last name Smith. Okay, so John, basically name equals John, last name equals Smith.
So you're kind of declaring what, like at the same time declaring what name and last name.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and I can reuse this function over and over. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna add also a little break to my string. Okay, there you go. I have a little break, and my function requires a name and the last name. Okay, so I execute it. There you go, John Smith. I can, since a function like in f of x, you can parse through x, 2, 3, 4, could be anything, right? F of x, as long as x equal to any variable you want. The same thing with our JavaScript functions. I can execute write full name for John Smith. I can write for Juan. This is the Mexican John Smith, Juan Perez, right? And the French one will be Jean François. No, quoi c'est quoi? François quoi? Huh? Philippe. Which is the most common French last name? Huh? Pierre. No, that's Pierre. Yeah, Pierre is like P. Huh?
Yeah, Francois.
François. Okay. No, but François is the name. Whatever. Jean-François. Okay. So I am sending John Smith, Juan Perez, and Jean-François. So then the three of them are there. I can use my function over and over, okay, to get different results according to different parameters that I'm sending. Yeah? Yes.
Last Friday, I heard what you said when we studied the Pascal loop. We couldn't.
All right. So then we can use over and over our functions, right? And they will take different parameters. Here I have one with the right full name is asking me for two. I can ask I am the one writing my code, right? I can ask for three. Let's say middle name. Now I need three. Problem is that I was already using my function with two, but now right full name requires three. Requires name, middle name, and last name. So this will give me an error. It's going to tell me, sorry, the function that you're trying to call requires three parameters. You're giving only two. Error right here. Let's see. And it says last name is not defined, meaning I sent, according to my function, I sent name, middle name,
And not
last name not defined. I'm missing last name, right? So let's see now. John P. Smith, Juan Maria Perez. All right. And have you seen How I Met Your Mother? Eduardo, wait for it.
I love that show.
Ponce de Leon. And still doesn't work. The comma. Comma, right? Each parameter goes after a comma. What's happening?
Or you have to
Ah,
add it in your
capital
function.
L, lowercase. They're not the same variable. Okay, so let's go there. This is plus last name, and I also want to print the middle name. So plus m name plus space plus last name. Okay, so let's see. There you go. Now, we were talking before about single quotes and double quotes, that it's the same. When we start concatenating, for example, I'm going to send here let's say that I was using double quotes, okay? It's the same thing, it works. Still working. But what if I want my double quotes to be part of the string? Or for example, in French there's many quotes every time you use, like for example, the school is l'école, right? And you need to put a quote. So if I am going to write, I'm going to use a function I have here, insert text. Insert text. I'm going to put it right here, and I want to print l'école. Now I have a problem because my code understands that the string starts in the first quote and finishes in the second quote, and all the rest after, it doesn't know what it is. It's all confused. Okay, so if I try this, I'll get an error, and it's like, I don't know what that means. What is école? I have no idea, right? Or in the case of wait for it, if I want the double quotes to be part of the wait for it, like, you know, Eduardo, wait for it, last name, how can I make my double quots be part of the string?
Wait, single and double.
Exactly. In the case of the wait for it, I can just exchange and use single, and then the double quotes, they become part of the string. That's a very intelligent solution. So it works. Eduardo, double quotes, wait for it, right? In the case of Lecole, I could do the same thing, then use double quotes instead, right? So I can exchange from one to another, and that will actually help me. But what if even in the string I have double quotes? For example, Lecole Hertzing. And I want Hertzing now to be also with double quotes. So my string has single and double quotes. It's complicated. Well, for this there is something called escaping. How to escape a character. So you want a special character to be part of your string. You escape it by using a backslash. A backslash before the character will escape the character. So now, yeah, backslash, double quotes, backslash, double quotes. So now the double quotes are part of my string. Lecole Hertz. Okay, so every time you have quotes or double quotes and you don't know which one to use according to the quotes that you're using outside, either single or double, you can escape them with a backslash. Now, in the case of the first one, I don't need to backslash it because I'm using double quotes. And if I backslash it, it's not going to work. It is actually going to add me. Oh, it didn't. Okay, it didn't. If I want to have it added, I have to. Yes, I have not to quote. I have to escape the backslash.
Does this ever really happen?
Sometimes you're gonna use this. Yes. There you go. Now I am escaping the backslash. Okay? So every time you want to add something to your code that is supposed to be reserved for something else, you backslash it. Okay? Now, back to the functions. So we know now that functions, they are declared, they are written, they do not do anything until we call them. We can call a function just by writing the name of the function either inside the body, inside the head, or inside the same script.
So just to be clear on something, it
Yes.
doesn't actually matter the order you write the function.
All right. So we know that we have functions that they could have no parameters, one parameter, or many parameters. And just to call them, we just need to write the function and include whatever parameters we require. In this case, I am using document.write. Therefore, the function needs to be called in the body. But what if I have, for example, some division down here? Again, with the ID result. Okay, and I'm going to create a function that is going to print, for example, get sum. And get sum is going to ask me for A and B. Then get sum will return A and B. A plus B. Okay? So instead of actually writing inside the document, it will return a value. The same way as booleans, they return true or false. This one will return A plus B. Okay? So then even if I call this function get sum right here, get sum 5 plus 10, right? It's going to return 15, but I'm not doing anything with 15. I am not writing it. I am not alerting it. I'm not doing anything. There's no 15. I would need to write maybe document dot write, then yes, it will write 15. There it is. Okay, so when a function returns a value, we have to do something with that value that we're getting in return. We have to write it, we have to alert it, we have to use it for something else. So now let's say that I want to insert it inside results. Okay, that is the division in which I am going to have some exchange with. I'm gonna be manipulating that element. So inside functions, I can then have my window dot unload.
You're not inside function.
Huh?
You're not inside function.
No, I'm not inside the function. I'm gonna create a new function. Window unload equals a new function. Right? And when the load is the page is loaded, I want to insert inside document get element by ID results. I am going to insert inner HTML get sum of 5 plus 15. That will be 20. So when the page is completely loaded, I will insert inside results 5 plus 15. Because the function getSum returns a value. So another way of executing a function is not only by mentioning it, but is by getting something back from it and using it. Yeah?
There's a million ways to do things.
Pardon me?
There really is a million ways to do things.
Oh, there's so many ways of using functions, of course. Right? Now this is results. Okay. There you go, 20. So it inserted, I'm going to use the Firebug, inside the division results, 20.
You know of a website that tells us all of the actions?
No, yeah, W3 schools. But all of the, but the document has to wait, right, for it to be loaded. All the elements need to be loaded before I can actually find the element results. Another way of calling an element, so we know that we can write it down. We can write it down inside the body, it's going to execute it. We can write it down inside the window.onload, it's going to wait for our page to load and execute the function. Or we can have an action inside, for example, a button on click equals the name of the function. Let's say getSum. No, I will need, let's have another function. Function insert title. And insert title is also going to look for the element results in our HTML, and is going to insert an H2 new title. Okay, so I have a new function. It is outside the window.onload. It's not doing anything until I call it, and I am going to call this function from my button on click. Okay, now I'm using document.getElement by ID results. When I get to line 21, my document is not loaded yet. So it shouldn't be able to find the element results. Nevertheless, since the function is not being executed, it doesn't have to find it. By the time the page is loaded and the user, in this case will be me, I go to the button that is right here. I go to the button insert title. By the moment that I go there and I click it, the document is loaded. So when I click, it's going to call insert title. It's going to look for an element results, which is already there. It already got the time to load. So I click on it and inserted new title inside the division results. So another way of calling a function is by triggering it through an action inside HTML. There is on click, there is on submit, there is on mouse over, on mouse out, on change. Let's try on mouse over. Just by putting the mouse over, not even clicking. Okay? So those are the ways of calling functions. And also functions, as we said, they can return values. They can do something like a print. They can do something like an alert. Okay? And they can change values that are global. Global variables. And that is the next thing we're gonna look again into is the difference between A and B, where A and B only exist inside getSum, but I cannot use A and B inside rightful name because they belong only to getSum. If I want to use A and B inside rightful name, they will have to be declared as global variables. Okay? So you can use them in all the other functions. Okay? So that's going to be our next exercise. I'm going to save this and stop